Matt came late. He completely missed my background joke.
Sorry, I missed it.
The background is the real background.
Have you seen this room? Have you seen this room, Matt, as my background?
I don't think so.
I used to use it all the time. Here, I'll turn it back on. More backgrounds and filters.
But now you're in the real room.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm actually in.
So I don't need a background.
No, I see what you did.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I put a new floor in this room about 2 years ago. And at the time I took this nice photo and it's like, oh, the room's empty. It kind of makes an interesting background for Zoom. And then I realized today that I'm actually in that room.
Nice. The decor has changed ever so slightly, but yeah, that's great.
Sucker if not, that would be nice if you be in that room. Great place to be in, I think.
Yeah, I'll have to be back in school.
Nice.
You don't want?
Not now.
I see. Okay, let's start then.
Yeah.
So I have a question for Matt. First, I have a list of SC Nanos that are going to be around the theme page.
Cool.
It's only going to be 3 because, well, things happened. But what do you want to do? Do you want me to send you a list in Slack of the 3 numbers, or you want to just wait till they're actually deployed and then you can draw a circle around and find out? Or I mean, it's still not completely.
Which location was this for?
San Onofre.
San Onofre. Okay, cool. Because if you have the numbers, I can just put them in here, and then that way it's like done.
Well, it'd be easier if I type them to you, because if we sit here and read them out, they're each like a 12-digit or 15-digit number.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Oh, better send them. Yeah.
So better to copy and paste them all.
Yeah, because basically just need to drop them into this section of
well,
each
where
of
are
the
you looking at?
graphs.
Oh, you're looking at Southern California?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it'll
Okay,
just zoom to wherever you are.
Okay, well, this is 30 days, right?
Yep.
Okay, so look a little north from there, because they've all tested successfully in the last 2 weeks.
Gotcha. Well, for that, I have to take this off first.
Where zoom out a little bit, I can't quite see. Zoom it on the map.
Well, it's auto zoom because it's filtered to just these 2.
Oh, okay. Then go to just grafana.cc, the top page. For a second.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Because that's going to give me like everything, which will just zoom to whatever.
Yeah,
like,
zoom into the
location.
right place. And
yeah. So let me get to the top page.
yeah, now expand it to 30 days so we get them all.
30 minutes, 30 days.
And then go to zoom in on California.
It's like down
yeah.
here, right?
I think it's the blue one, and the blue one's up further up. No, they haven't gotten them down there yet. They're not tested. So I think it's that blue, that set there. How many are there? That's it. That's where I am physically, where I've been testing them.
Okay, cool.
There should be 3 of them. 3
yeah,
numbers.
it looks like 3.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. That's gonna be them.
Okay, cool. This is where like I wish Grafana had Kibana's
where it spreads things out.
filtering trick. Well, in Kibana you can actually just like draw a rectangle. Like be like, show me these 3. But as far as I know, Grafana doesn't have that feature.
Well, technically they were tested separately. So if you select the by time, you can get them one at a time, because they were actually successfully connected on different days each. So
there it is. I think it's these 3. Cool. Easy enough. That was weird. I'll just reload this and get a fresh one. So it is. Yeah,
and there's a solar cast, a classic solar cast down there at somebody's house, which is a few miles away from the plant. That's what probably the spot you saw that was down that way.
6 and 2.
I actually got on the property at the nuclear power plant. So
oh, cool.
Talked to security and they said, "Yep, come with me."
Cool. That. should be that. Cool. So looks like they only have this sensor, not the other one.
They each have two, but oh, they don't have a 7318C though. They have something else.
Yeah,
But
another one, the compensated. That one.
Yeah, that's it. DC. Yep.
Cool.
Or not. Wait, and then not 7318. I think it's a 7124
this one has
maybe
data.
DC? Or 7318 DC. Yeah, something like that.
It's for free. Yeah, that's the one you need.
Oh, I see. I took the total wrong. 7128 PC. Cool. So it's these two. Sweet. New sensor. Numbers.
And I would expect them to come online for good this Friday.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah. So they're here right now, and then this will just auto zoom to wherever the devices are. So
Great.
So once they get in place, this should be all you need.
Great.
Sounds
What's
good
the
then.
what's the last argument on there? Org ID?
That just gets put in there. So like Grafana has this concept of
ID.
like organizations. Where is it? It's like team. Oh
Okay.
yeah, it's like this thing, I think.
Mhm.
I forget. I don't know.
You can
I've
go
never actually
somewhere.
used it. I only ever just have like one org, but like technically you can have two orgs. I guess probably you can have like different dashboard lists per org or something.
Okay.
But yeah, you don't need it for linking. It'll just like, you know, if you're handing someone a link to the dashboard,
Mhm.
you can leave out the org ID number, and then it'll just, when it refreshes, it'll just put it.
It populates it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess
And then
if I put,
I'll
if I put like
I'll-
a 2 or something, it would probably say like dashboard not found or. Yeah.
I'll want to expect it.
Yeah.
Huh?
Good.
Yeah.
It goes back to the number.
Still there?
Yeah, I think so.
I
Looks
said
like we have a little latency.
we'll want to edit that page to put the units in REMs instead of microsieverts.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's easy enough. This one's a little harder because I'll have to change the thresholds, but for this
Just
one,
the graph is fine, and as long as
Yeah.
it's on there somewhere.
and what's so do you know what I do for REMs then? That's not,
I can't remember if it's 3340 or 33.4.
33.4, I think.
Yeah.
Because hold on, you're dividing it. So
well, so we need to go from CPM to REMs, and I just
Yeah.
don't know the conversion
so
factor.
The difference is the factor of time.
3,340.
Right. So because we're
3,300.
going from
Yeah,
microsieverts to millirems. So it's going to be MREM.
Yeah. Well, this is actually defining REMs then, or yeah, you know better than I do. So
Yeah.
what I have
It-
is a CPM value.
It's the
I'm dividing it by
MREM.
something.
REM.
Yeah. So if I divide it by this number, what I'm getting is MREM. So like normal background would be like 0.005 millirems.
I'll double check and send you a link because I better verify it.
Yeah, yeah. It's easy enough to change. I just don't know.
Yeah. Now that I see what you're doing, we'll change the label in MREM. That's it. Just MREM with no S
Okay,
is traditional.
that's like the usual. Yeah, I don't know my non-metric radiation units that well.
Yeah. It's millirentgen equivalent man,
Interesting.
which is very similar to sievert. Sievert, is a measure of damage to a human. It's just
Yeah.
is named after a scientist instead of an acronym.
Gotcha. Cool. So this one we can also change. The only reason I'm not gonna I'll let you double check that number first, because once we change that, we're gonna have to change these threshold values to match something. These are defined assuming microsieverts.
They're on the microsieverts, not on the CPM.
Yeah, exactly. So
Because the data
I
that
don't.
comes into CPM. So
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we get the data as CPM and then we convert it just with this little simple division. And then the thresholds are
those will
based on
also
that final
change.
number.
So those will also change by a factor of 10, whichever way I have to determine. I have to find out. Yeah.
Okay. So once you find out, let me know, and we can. It's easy enough to type new numbers. It's just like I don't want to type them and then retype them. And
I figured this out definitively about 2 months ago, right before I came to the US, and I
Yeah.
put it in an email or a Slack note somewhere. I just have to dig it out and
okay, cool.
and resend it.
Easy to change. We just need the numbers. That's all.
Yep.
Cool. So I'll leave
And it
this as microsieverts
It
until
won't
we know.
affect the deployment because we can always fix it as soon as we know what to do.
Exactly. It's totally view time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
No worries.
I feel successful already.
Yeah, that's good.
Cool. I don't have too much to report. I posted my recording for anyone who wants to watch it. So
I
from
saw that,
the
yeah.
conference last week. So a little light entertainment value, I guess. And
I haven't
then
watched it's I liked some of the things that came up around it even before it was when it was before it was online.
oh, thanks. Well, give it a watch and let me know what you think. I haven't done anything on the dashboards. Like I mentioned on the channel, I was on call until like Thursday last week, and then I just started a job on a new team, same company but new team this week. So I'm kind of
It's
working on
Grafana
ramping up.
team?
And it's the team that works on Grafana, yeah. So it's the team that does the logs UI and the metrics UI, and then also does the Grafana contributions as well, and also the stack monitoring UI. So yeah, I'm learning a lot about TypeScript and React this week. Is kind of the story.
Oh, that's great. I mean,
Yeah,
it's good
yeah, it's
to
fun.
learn new things.
Yeah,
Sounds
I
like
think
a
so.
good.
Yeah.
What do you want to say,
Thanks.
Joe? What do you want to say, Joe? You said
Good
something.
match, I think you said something like that.
A mesh with what you're doing with us and what you're doing with Elastic.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like gears.
Cool. Not seeing any updates from Nick here. I did. Audrey sent me a note about like how she can test Slack messages. So I think she's still continuing work here. I don't see any new comments. But I gave her, like I mentioned last week, I gave her the Slack app info. And I assume that she's probably doing some testing just like in DMs and stuff like that. So
But
and then we have
this time is good for her also to join because that's what we do. Or is it difficult for her?
I could ask her. I think it's not quite. What time is it right now? Yeah, she probably could. It's a question of like kind of personal stuff. It's I've had Zooms with her a little bit after this time slot, so it's like a little further into her evening. Looks like it's
It'd
like
be nice if you
9:30 for her.
can get her into the conversation a little bit more, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Sucker, you had some questions about Rails? said?
Yeah. So
So you had
yeah,
a
I haven't.
PR, I think, for this issue, but I don't see
Yeah,
it
I
on
didn't
here
link
yet.
it. I didn't link it
Okay.
to this
Yeah,
issue
let me
yet.
just do that. That's this one, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's do something like that. That way it'll at least show up. Cool. Yeah, it looks like, so Ato give you some feedback there.
Yeah, and that one worked.
mhm.
So
That looks good. Cool. So what's next?
I'm now trying to process the parameters
Hmm?
gets sent to the controller, because instead of sending it directly to the device story page, I think it gets sent to the device story controller, and then the controller then respond with the device story object. So
Yep.
I think I need to. I was wondering if I should add a field to the device story model, or is there any way to add to send parameters?
That's a good question. There's got to be a way to get like, because respond with ultimately just like renders the show view. Like one thing that we should be able to do that would be like, I don't know, maybe it's like old school, but we should be able to just say like at time range equals params time range, and then like at time range should be available in the view code at that point. So I think that would probably work. I don't know if it's like new hotness as far as like Rails goes, but it, I think it'd do the trick. Apparently I I wasn't logged into the Gitpod. I was hoping I could just like pop an editor, but it'll take a little bit longer since it wasn't preparing. It was waiting for me to log in instead. Yeah, I wouldn't put it onto like the model like this. I mean, you could, but I think it's, you know, it's kind of mixing of concerns.
Yeah.
Whereas if we just set it as a instance variable, like a controller instance variable, then it should be available in the view code as well, which I think would be fine, right? So,
Yeah, that's just
yeah,
a
so like
form.
down here, yeah, so here would be like in place of this, you would have time range equals params time range. I'll just comment that for now. And then down here, you would have if time range.
I'm also having trouble rendering pages on Gitpod right now.
Gotcha.
What
You should be
kind of
able to share your
problem?
workspace and post it in the
That
channel.
that just happened. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can share. That's easier. You can share the
Yeah.
device.
Yeah.
Also look at it.
Yeah, and then we can take a look. But I think something like this should work. If you just set an instance variable, it should be available to the view after that.
Yeah, I'll try
Rather
that
than-
out when.
Yeah. Rather than going via the device story object.
Yeah, that does make more sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think you could, if you wanted to be like really object oriented about it, you know, you could make a, what do they call it? There's like they call it a presenter or something. I know there's like a word for it in like Rails land where like you basically create like a model that contains the device story and the time range, and then you pass that to the view instead. So that's like another way to do it if you wanted to be like super object oriented about it. But let's see how quickly this loads. Cool. That's still loading.
Yeah, and I just shared the workspace.
That's taking a while. I wonder if maybe GitLab's having some trouble. Oh, this is cool. I didn't realize when you spin it up from a PR, it like includes the pull request changes. And the comments. How neat is that? That's really cool.
Mhm.
Still allocating resources.
Not yet. Maybe it's coming up. Yeah, maybe now.
Yeah, the first request seems to fail for some reason.
Just to refresh it.
It's
Yeah.
mining and to refine some silicon.
Yeah, basically.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is weird too, because it is like it's listening, and I know that doesn't pop the browser open until it sees the port open, but it seems like Puma's like not ready, even though it says it's ready. I wish Puma was a little bit more like, it'd be nice if Puma made sure that like everything was ready and then bound the port, and then you wouldn't run into that first fail. Looks like we're about to run out of time, so I think we'll probably have to take this back to the channel. This is still just sort of running here, but I can take a look here and see what's going on. Yeah, okay, so this thing here.
Yeah,
So I think no. All right, you need like the frame thing to do the hotkeys. Does this work? No, that would be so cool if it did. Device story show.
You have to go to the views now.
Device stories controller. And we'll see. We'll see if this does what I think it will.
It's nice. It shows the participants. It's good.
Yeah, the from the PR. That's what I was just noticing. That's really cool.
I didn't know that. Also, did you try to use remote, the new versions on the Visual Studio Code? They have a remote connected to GitHub. You don't have to control anymore. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I haven't really played around with it yet, but it looks interesting.
Check it.
Cool. So no, I don't want that. I want device stories.
Yep, that's better.
And now, okay, and now we're getting this on
Yeah,
the view. I don't know if there's a way to navigate to the view from here, so I'll just get there on my own.
Yep.
Uh, It's interesting the URL gets messed up when you, oh, that's interesting. It doesn't update. I should probably report that. But anyway, so now you get this. So it's at least not exploding. And then I think if we set the, that's weird that the URL doesn't update. One second,
I haven't coded the part where it will actually switch yet, but I think I coded so if you pick 6 months and then it will show the selection tab twice.
Cool. I was actually just going to do this for starters, just so we can see it. Like that's there. Oh, but I guess this part. Right. So this is if time range 2. Oh, I see. This is it's just rendering the select twice. It looks like.
Yeah.
Time range select if it's 2. That's interesting. I would have expected to see 2 because we have time range 2 here, but that would imply that parameters like not getting picked up. So anyway, that's the basic idea. I think we're gonna have to futz around with it a little bit. If it was like on my laptop, I would just open the debugger and poke around a little bit. I'm sure there's just something silly that I'm forgetting with like we might have to do the, isn't there something we have to do like allowed params or something? What do we do here? Search blank. No, that's params. Params that key, params time range. Like that should be set. But I don't think this is set up in like a debugging mode. Nah. Yeah, it'd be nice if I could just hit a breakdown and catch it there, but it looks like the way this is running is not set up for debugging yet. So anyway,
okay.
That's the basic idea anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say time range was time. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Yep. So I don't know why we're not getting 2 select boxes. Maybe it's just kind of collapsing them or something. There's some sort of HTML thing going on there, but at least this way the value gets through to the template, and then it's just a matter of doing something with the template.
Yeah.
Cool. So I think that'll work. Go for it. Good luck.
Yep.
Oh, and I also got just in the last 5 minutes here, I got a note from who was no, not Batran, Samira, who was looking into this story. It looks like she's basically we're having this like weird permissions thing where like she wants to explore basically doing like RDS access from Lambda. But in order to create new Lambda functions, you need to be able to create new IAM roles. And it's like, if it was like Joe or Rob or Zachary or whatever, I would just say like, oh, whatever, just turn up admin access. But because Samira's like really new to the project, and I think she's even a little nervous, I was like, should I just give you admin? And she was like, I don't know, that sounds dangerous. And so like, we're doing this dance where like, I have to try to find like the right level of permissions where she can get done what she's trying to get done, but not so much that she feels like she might risk like destroying the entire project. So that's the state of things there. I'm hoping this week I should be able to, I think what I can do is give her access to create IAM roles, but like not delete. And that way she should be able to create what she needs, but she won't have the risk of accidentally destroying something that's important. And I think that'll work. So, but I just haven't had the time to try it this week.
Okay, it would be good if you could work on that.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I know, Rob, I think you're an AWS admin, so I don't know. Maybe I should have her talk to you since I've been kind of busy or something. It'd be nice to have, like, Andrew used to sort of be like my backup, AWS admin, but I don't have a good secondary at this point. Like Audrey's kind of like getting into it, but that's another case where like she's just still so new that I would feel bad kind of like handing her that level of responsibility and potentially having something go wrong. Yeah. So
Okay.
in the meantime, she's waiting on me. I guess if you want, maybe reach out to her if you want to help her try to sort out the permissions. She's in EU time zone, so you have to stay up a little late. Is the other gotcha. But maybe the two of you could work something out, or maybe I can do it. We'll see. I'm getting settled into the new job, and maybe I'll get to a better spot in another day or so.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. Any other questions or parting thoughts?
No, I'm fine.
Cool. Sounds good. Talk to you all soon.
Okay, so, yeah. Okay, good. See ya.
Oh, and I think I may as well provide an update to the charging thing.
Oh, for the battery. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have like an open PR for that one, or?
No. I just looked
Just
into
find
it and I found out
Okay.
something.
Okay.
So I think to make it work,
We're gonna
we
run out
will
of time
need
in like
to.
2 minutes, by the way. So
Yeah,
speak quickly.
we'll need to, because the design of the data collection, it will set it to true or it will not report anything at all. So our query will only query the values that are true, but not when it is false. So it's just a lot of true data, which doesn't really mean anything.
Well, I think it's also because of the time range. So unless you've changed something on the time range, part of it is this is like a 12-hour span. And pretty much in any given 12-hour span, you're going to have at least one charging period.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it as well, is you're never going to see this go zero when you're zoomed that far out.
Make it short. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
we're
which is
gonna
another
find
thing to think
that if-
about. Like, yeah, go ahead,
when we
John.
start recording.
What did you say, Joe?
I said the time limit for the meeting is either when we started or when the host got here or when you started the recording. We're going to
When we
find
started
out
the
about
recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because we didn't start
Should
the
be
recording until like 5 minutes after. So
Yep. Yeah, it's the recording.
we might have 5 more minutes.
Yeah, it's an interesting point though. I mean, it might be good to get Ray's thoughts, is like, when you're zoomed out, that charging overlay might just look like a yellow background, because when you're zoomed far enough out, there's always going to be one charging space per interval. And so maybe that's okay. And then maybe as we zoom in, then it'll separate out and like, I can see that being good, because then charging's happening, and you can't see exactly when it's happening until you zoom in, but you know that it's happening because the one is at least there. Something like that. Cool. All right, let's get back to the channel. We're about to get cut off anyway. All right. Talk to you all soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.